Good. I got a quick question for you. What was your favorite video game from the 90s?
Oh, gosh. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because I feel like I've been playing it a lot lately. I'd have to say Tetris. And
you still play Tetris?
In a matter of speaking. Not time for video games per se, but my life has really felt like, our life has felt like a game of Tetris here, balancing all these kids' activities, all the school stuff in full steam. And it feels like you're trying to juggle all those pieces and get them all in the right order.
Yeah. Know what you mean. I'm just now learning about all of this. I've heard about juggling schedules. I've heard about sports schedules in school.
You've thought I was lying for the last 10 years.
And all these things from you and every other mom out there and dad out there. And the reality has hit that I get to be a part of it too, finally. And this past weekend was my first real heavy dose of having this Tetris schedule going on and putting all the pieces together.
So what happened? What was the realization?
The realization, well, I got 2 kids in activities, and this is the busiest time of year for us because he's playing football, he's playing soccer, hockey's just getting started, Colton's playing soccer. So we got 2 kids in 4 different activities, if you will. So, and guess what? They all were on the weekend.
Yeah.
So, putting that schedule together to get them to all the places.
Yeah.
And I can see where the overwhelm can hit people.
It sure does.
If you're not, especially if you're underprepared and not ready for it. So that's obviously what we're going to talk about today is how do we get through this craziness of schedules. So I feel like this is one of the busiest times of year, or at least it is for us.
Yes, I think it really
there's
is.
So many overlapping pieces for the next 6 weeks, really, that we're looking
Winter
at.
sports are starting. You know, fall sports are in full swing. We're trying to get all this in before the weather turns.
People are still playing baseball and softball.
Yeah, it never ends.
That never ends.
I come from a place where I can speak the truth on that. It never ends.
So, you know, you said you were putting this schedule together. What'd that look like for you guys? How did you put all the pieces? What strategies did you use to make this happen for your schedule?
So let me start off by saying this hasn't started overnight. This planning it didn't just happen overnight. This took putting in a lot of reps and a lot of thought and a lot of practice, and it's still not always perfect. But the best laid plans lead to the best chance of success. So we started years ago by let's make a calendar. Let's have something that works. I like, and as I've told you guys before, I like the calendar on the phone, the digital calendar. My wife has come a long way on that, and I have to be careful what I say now that Michelle has officially started listening to us. So Michelle, I think she likes it. But she does still keep her handwritten calendar that works for her. So, but we have a calendar, you know, the kids are all on there. Everybody can see what's going on. And we just go, you know, we will look at the week ahead for meal planning. But as far as the events of day to day, it's each night before we go to bed, here's what tomorrow looks like. We don't get too far ahead because it can be so overwhelming to look ahead and like, oh my gosh, this week is so busy, and you just already mentally start to shut it down. So we take the approach of one day at a time, but our meals are planned the week before. So getting that, you know, how many nights are we going to be home? How many times do we want to cook? Okay, well, we need a grocery list for, you know, say we're going to be home 3 nights, we're going to cook. Well, what are we going to do on those other nights? Are they leftovers? Do we want to plan a dinner out? You know, but even those dinners out, we try to make them planned rather than
just react.
I
think that's where most people fall into poor habits is they're reacting to the weekend versus planning for the weekend, especially nutritionally. And I can, you know, it was easy to see how that can happen like this weekend as we're hustling around from one thing to the next and getting kids from here to there. And, you know, you only got so much time to, you know, so what are you going to do in between things? And obviously the easiest thing to do is just stop and get something because somebody did the work for you.
Yeah.
What other strategies do you have? Do you have any, so you guys like the Google Calendar.
Yep.
So that way you can enter something on your phone. Michelle can enter something on her phone.
Sticking with the nutrition theme, so we have a dry erase board on our refrigerator. And just to keep track and to make, groceries more seamless, the kids all know, they've all got, their chips and their, snacks and all the things they take in their weekly lunch, just to streamline that process rather than us having to spend the time to go through everything as they run out. They add those things to the list on their own. We've got the recurring Walmart order. So the milk and, all those things you're going to order on a weekly basis, fruits, veggies, they're already in there. But the things the kids need, we save that time. And I actually had a post about it today, getting the kids involved in the process. They want to be involved. They just don't know it yet. So showing them that they can be a part of cooking, they can be a part of meal planning. They take real ownership in it. My littlest helped me make dinner.
How old is Keegan?
He's 8.
So even at 8 years old,
yeah,
Keegan's involved in helping the process.
Yeah, he helped me make dinner last night. We were the only 2 home, and he asked what he could do because during the week my youngest 2 don't get their electronics or anything, so they're really put upon during the week. So I said, why don't you help me make dinner? So he comes in and we're making homemade pizzas. He's rolling the dough. He's saucing. I mean, it took a little bit longer. It took a little more patience on my part, sure, but we got to spend that hour together. When we get done, he takes a bite of the pizza. He says, Dad, this is the best pizza I've ever had. Was it really the best pizza he's ever had? I don't know. But he was taking ownership in what he had, because he put the work in.
Yeah.
So to me, on top of having them help out and make things easier, they're also learning life lessons through this too.
Yeah. And unfortunately, everything takes patience to start with. But, if you can get Keegan going on this stuff, even though it takes a little longer now, eventually he'll be able to do the whole thing by himself.
And I think going back to my childhood, this is why I like and enjoy to be in the kitchen, is my parents had us in the kitchen helping them. I didn't know it at the time that it would turn out to be this way, but I think that's why I enjoy it.
Yeah, probably. So much of what we do as adults, we learn as kids. Maybe that's why I don't spend much time in the kitchen. I never spent a day in the kitchen as a kid, unless I was making bagel bites in the microwave, something that was microwaved. So, just cooking wasn't a real big thing. Yeah. So hence I'm a very simple eater. So
simple is okay too.
It's okay. But a few more skills would probably be good.
Sure.
But the big thing that that I kind of learned over this weekend is Max, during his first hockey practice. Thankfully, I am not coaching this one, so I am just
great job saying no.
Dad on the sidelines on this one. There's 2 or 3 other coaches. They're going to do a great job. I don't have to worry. I watched this first practice, and I promised myself that will be the last practice that I sit and watch and just watch, because I need to be doing something else. So I'm going to go for a run, use that time to go for a run. Thankfully, actually the Edwardsville ice rink has a gym inside of it.
Oh, wow.
That I can just pay to go use while he's on the ice and stuff. So I plan on taking full advantage of that. Unfortunately, as I look up in the stands, I see all these parents just sitting on their phones, sitting in the stands, watching their kid skate in circles. And sure, it's cool for 1 or 2 days, but for me to actually think that I'm going to watch this 50 times over over the next couple months I'll go crazy. Mm-hmm. And it's just such an easy time. Somebody else is watching my kids. I need to take advantage of that opportunity that somebody's willing to voluntarily watch my kids. So I need to use that, be productive. And that's my goal, is to, if I'm in Alton, I'll be going for a run. If I'm in Edwardsville, chances are I'm probably going to do a weights workout, because they have a nice little gym inside there. So
I think that's a great realization that you figured that out after one practice. I can't tell you how many years I sat and watched things before that, I took that realization. And it doesn't have to be just a workout. Like if you're over in Edwardsville, There's lots
maybe
of
I go grocery shopping.
Grocery shopping, yeah.
Get
Check
something
something else.
done.
Yep.
Yeah, there's too much to do to just sit and watch my kids. And it's, I'm just a believer that they don't need to see me watching them all the time.
Yep.
They need to have that freedom that, hey, dad's not here. And now he's got to make this decisions and make choices at practice, knowing that I'm not there. That changes things.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'm actually excited about that part because it actually allows me the freedom to go do whatever I want versus I have to take my kids to practice. No, I get to take them, drop them off, and I get to go for a run. So to me, it's actually almost freeing up my time, or I'm looking at that. I hope it holds true. Now, again, this is new to me, so this is my plan. I will talk about it as we implement it, or as I implement it, or what struggles I have, if I have any, which I'm sure they'll be there, what struggles we'll come up with. But as of right now, that's the game plan. I do similar schedule as you. I just have an Excel spreadsheet that I put mine on, dated, Max, his list of stuff, dated with Colton's list of stuff. And so that way I can just go down the line. Me and Deanna haven't quite figured out how we're working together on this one because she's just constantly asking me, who's got this? When's this? So we're going to figure that part out.
Okay. And you guys are much earlier in the process. I'm not going to lie. We probably struggled along this way longer than we should have. It took us a long time to figure out. It's probably just been in the last 2 years that we've had this, calendar figured out. And I have an 18 and a almost 16-year-old. So it's been a work in progress.
Hopefully I get it figured out before 10 years from now.
But the good news is I still have an 8 and a 12-year-old. So I've still got some years to implement this.
10 more years to go.
Yeah.
But like I said, we know the overwhelm is real when you start to look at all this stuff. And when you look at you just start to think about, oh my gosh, they had so many things this weekend. It's very overwhelming unless you put it on paper, take a look at it, and then actually see where your freedoms lie so you can schedule yourself in that schedule. And how do you make yourself a priority?
Yeah, absolutely. And like we've said before, don't be afraid to say no to something in order to say yes to yourself. This was a whole nother podcast a while back, but it reigns true right here.
The reminder will never get old
right.
to say no so you can say yes to yourself.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about this, shoot us a message and we'll be happy to help you navigate your own chaotic sports schedule for your kids.
Enjoy the fall.